Hello. Today we're talking about vertical and horizontal lines, so drawing them or sketching them um, and writing the equation. And we're also going to be talking about intercepts and finding intercepts in different ways. So my learning targets are I can graph vertical and horizontal lines, and I can determine the slope of vertical and horizontal lines. And then we can talk about x and y intercepts from graphs and equations. So we're going to start with intercepts and end with horizontal and vertical lines. Okay, remember your intercepts are the points where a graph intersects, shocker, the x and y axis. Since there are two axes, there could be two intercepts. We always write intercepts as ordered pairs, so x value, y value. Let's see what points they end up being. So here in this first one, I've got my x-intercept, so it crosses the x-axis right here. And I see x value goes first. X value is 3. And this point in particular is directly on the line, so it has not gone up or down. So it's at 0 for the y. Okay, my y-intercept is right there. And I notice I am right on the y-axis, so I haven't gone left or right. So 0. But I have gone from the origin. I have gone down 4. Okay, this one's, watch your scale. Okay, my x-intercept is right here. And I see I'm going up by 0.1. So this is 0.1. This is 0.4 right here. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So x value is 0.9. But I haven't gone up or down, so it's a 0 for my y value. And my y-intercept is, let's see, 1, 1.1, 1.2. Haven't gone left or right, so that's a 0, but my y value is 1.2. So, do you see a pattern? You should notice that there's a 0 in the same spots. So, we're going to write when, not write that. We're going to write when it's the x-intercept, then y equals 0. When it's the y-intercept, x equals 0. Okay, so lots of zeros. Keeping with, so that's from a graph. That's finding intercepts from a graph. It's kind of nice, we just look at it and we write it as an ordered pair. Okay. Finding intercepts from an equation takes a little bit more calculator work, but same vibe. Okay. We need to stick to our steps as best we can. Step 1, all your homework, by the way, all of your equations are going to look something like this, where x value, y value equals something. Okay. Step 1 is we're going to substitute 0 for one of the variables. So your variables are the x and the y. And we're going to plug in 0 for one of them. Let's pick x first. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this. But instead of x, I'm going to put 0. That's what substitute means. I'm going to take out one player in the game and put in another player. And my player is 0. 9y equals 35. Okay. Step 2 is solve for the remaining variable. That would be y, because I still have a y there. So 7 times 0 is really nice. It's 0, so it just goes away. And I'm left with negative 9y equals 35. Negative 9 is being multiplied by y, so I'm going to divide by negative 9, excuse me. I'm going to get y equals 35 over negative 9. If you put that in your calculator, you will get a decimal. That is okay. That is your answer. That is okay. Fractions are perfectly fine, okay? Take a few minutes and solve for 0, or solve for x now. So I'm going to write my answer. Well, Delta Math takes it that way, so we're going to leave it that way. And then we're going to repeat steps 1 through 3 for the other variables. So that means I substituted 0 for x last time. I need to substitute 0 for y. And then solve again. Okay, so this is going to become 0, because anything times 0 is 0. And I'm left with 7x equals 35. And then 7 is being multiplied, so I'm going to divide. And I get x equals 35 divided by 7 is 5. So you can get ugly fractions or you can get nice numbers all in the same problem, and it's perfectly okay. What Delta Math looks like is it says x-intercept, and you're going to put 5. And then it says y-intercept, and you're going to put 35 over negative 9. And then it's going to mark you right, and that's going to be awesome. Okay? Let's flip the page. I will do it one more time. And then you're going to do that one. Okay? So I'm going to substitute 0 for one of the variables. We're going to pick x again. And we're going to solve for the other one. So 2 times 0 is 0. By the way, that's going to happen every single time. And I'm left with negative 5y, because I had the minus there, so it can't be forgotten, equals 6. So I'm going to divide by negative 5 on both sides to get y by itself. Y equals negative 6 over 5. Sweet. And I'm going to do it again, but instead I'm going to put the 0 in for y. And let's do this. That's going to go away, and I'm left with 2x equals 6. And I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides to get rid of the 2. X equals 3. And those I'm just going to plug into Delta Math. Okay, take a minute. Try this one on your own for just a second. You should get 2 nice numbers. If you get a fraction, try it one more time. Okay, we're going to put in 0 for x. And then we're going to put in 0 for y. 2 different equations. And we're going to solve. So that goes away. I got 3y equals 18. We can either think to ourselves 3 times 6 equals 18, or we can do 18 divided by 3, where y will end up being 6. Here, I'm left with 9x equals 18, because 3 times 0 is 0. And I can, again, think to myself 9 times something equals 18, or I can divide on both sides, and I can still get x equals 2. Okay, so that is solving for intercepts with an equation. Plugging in 0, solving for what's left. Okay, now on to vertical and horizontal lines. It should be black and white on your page, so let's highlight them. Make sure that we know which line is actually the one we're talking about. And I know they're kind of small, so we'll zoom in. we are going to talk a lot about these because you're going to see them throughout the whole year for the rest of the year. And we need to make sure we got this information down. Okay. A horizontal line. Notice it doesn't have an x-intercept. Okay. Most of the time it won't. My y-intercept, though, I see it crosses at 0, -2. When my slope is flat, when I have a flat line like this, that is the slope 0. Okay, you'll be asked on your homework things like write an equation that, or draw a line with the slope of 0. Write an equation that has a slope of 0. You need to know that that means it's a flat line. Okay, the equation is always going to be y equals whatever the y-intercept was. So notice we only had a y-intercept. Notice here on my graph, the only line that I'm touching is the y-intercept, is the y-axis, excuse me. So it just follows that the way I write this is y equals -2. Okay? Because that's what I'm hitting, is I'm hitting -2. Vertical lines follow about the same pattern. I have an x-intercept. If I zoom in super duper close, we can see that it is on the 3. And you'll notice I don't have a y-intercept. When a line is straight up and down like that, the slope is called undefined. You'll see that word on your homework. When it asks you to draw a line with an undefined slope, they mean a vertical line, straight up and down. Okay? And the equation, like the last one where we were only hitting the y-axis, notice we are now only hitting the x-axis, and we only have an x-intercept. This line right here is going to be x equals 3 because it's only hitting 3. All right? So that's just some information. We'll practice that on the homework to get into your brains. Okay? Your homework will look something like this. It'll ask you to graph a line and give you the equation. You'll be given a graph, and you have to say whether or not it's a vertical or a horizontal line. So when it's y equals something, let's take a look at our key. Y equals is a horizontal line. So that means it's going to be along the y-axis. Okay? And it's going to be at -2. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, and there's my line. Okay? These are the trickier ones because we have to think about it for a little bit longer. Okay? What is the equation of a horizontal line through -3, -4? So remember, again, horizontal line is your y equals. Okay? So write it in an equation and graph it. So it's going to be y equals, and then what's the y value that I use? And the answer is the y value they gave you. You don't have to go searching for it. Okay? If it said vertical line through -3, -4, you would have put x equals -3 because that's the x value, right? So write it in an equation. There's my equation, and I'm going to graph it. So here's my x and y axis. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 down, and then graph my line. And that's all there is to it. I hope we have a good experience with this. Okay? Raise your hand if you need help. Thank you.